And welcome back to Be Our Guest with Scott Posey from Hyundai. And we were doing a fascinating lesson on the culture and the Hyundai company, how it got started. And now we have moved to the son of the founder, and the whole process being you want an affordable, reliable, dependable automobile. So we're going to pick up there, and eventually we're going to get to Montgomery, Alabama, and Hyundai in Montgomery, not in Korea. So take me back now to where we were.
So 87, the Excel was introduced. It had some reliability issues. By this time, the founder's son had taken over Hyundai and had said, this isn't what we want the Hyundai brand to be. Hyundai means modern. We want it to be reliable. We want to have a reputation for quality. These aren't the products that we as South Koreans want to make. So they did a reset, introduced that famous 100,000 10-year, which was a disruptor in the automotive industry at the time. No one was offering that kind of warranty when it was offered by Hyundai.
100,000
10-year on the powertrain for
warranty.
Right, and no one. It was the first. It took the automotive world by storm when Hyundai announced that. So that's the first innovation. And then they began resetting and working on quality and reliability. And it got better. And so what's amazing is other models, they began to produce other models. I won't go into them all, but so let's go forward from 1987 to today. Or really, let's go back to when Hyundai Motor Company was founded in 67, produced their first car in around 1976 or 77.
Okay.
40 years. Today, Hyundai is the third largest automaker in the world. Now,
wow.
When you think of we as Americans, when we think of automobiles and we think, well, Ford, you know,
Right,
we're proud of Ford. There's a lot to be proud there in terms of mass assembly and mass production that started here in the early 1900s, turn of the century. But to go in 40 years, which I won't say how much less of my lifetime that is, but it's less than 40 years, one generation. And so that's where Hyundai is today. But then South Korea went from almost nearly illiterate country during about the same time frame. Very few natural resources. It's 80% mountains. They're an import-export country. Today, they are one of the most literate countries in the world. They have one of the most advanced healthcare systems in the world, one of the most advanced transportation systems in the world. I read in The Economist that between the ages of 25 and 35, 99% of the people in South Korea have a 2 or 4 year degree.
That's impressive.
And all of this in one lifetime. And that's pretty amazing. The United States GDP is about 60,000 per capita. South Korea today is about 38,000 per capita, and it's a small, it's a small country. So that's why it's called the impossible country often, because the great strides that they've made in one generation, and it's just by motivating each other, by realizing that their best resources they have were their people, and really the only resources they have were their people.
Right.
They have a strong commitment to a common good, strong commitment to nation, and just by working really hard. And I learned when I joined Hyundai, there's a Korean saying called pali pali, which in Korea means go go. And that's kind of the mantra of South Korea, because they have to make, they got to where they were by making these great leaps, by saying we don't have time. We may not make the right decisions. Things may not turn out the way we want them to, but we have to get moving. And it's okay to try and fail as long as we're trying. And I think that's how South Korea has now the 8th largest GDP in the world, and all again in a period of time after I was born. So.
Wow, so dedication, perseverance, hard work.
Lots of hard work.
I love the fact that they have a sense of nation and that their people feel like they belong. It's a team.
It is. It's very much. It's very much a team.
So how did we wound up with Hyundai right here in Montgomery?
I won't mention competitors' names, but
fine.
In the early '90s, we had our first automaker came to Alabama. That was a huge announcement, a big pivot point, I think, for Alabama. Other automakers began to follow and had success here. We are currently the only Hyundai manufacturing plant in North America. So when they were planning on doing this, they looked at a number of different sites, a number of different locations, but they saw that, that the automotive companies that were here were successful, were able to find a trained workforce. And so Alabama was fortunate enough and they had the groundbreaking, I believe, in 2003.
Right.
So 20 years ago, had the groundbreaking. The first vehicle rolled off the line in 2005, and it was a Sonata, which
Right.
HMMA,
Great
Hyundai
car.
Motor Manufacturing, HMMA doesn't make anymore. We miss it because it was the first one, always be a soft spot in the heart. And since then, it's been very successful, and we know that because we continue to get new platforms that they entrust our team. We have, today it employs, HMMA employs almost 4,000 people, around 3,800.
Wow.
But that's just direct employment. So if you think about our suppliers,
Absolutely.
the suppliers to our suppliers, so studies have shown that both indirect and direct, HMMA being here in the river region, in Montgomery, is responsible for around 40,000 jobs that would not exist
Absolutely.
if HMMA was not here in Montgomery.
And that's why I wanted to have you, and personally thank you to you, thank you to Hyundai, and all of us.
Thanks to the 4,000 people that work there.
That's what I'm saying, all of these wonderful people. So next week we'll have you back, and we're going to talk about how Hyundai gives back to our community. And thanks for being with us.